Ciao amici, I'm Maestro Leo Spizzirri, and guess what? Today I've got a beautiful pizza that I'm gonna make. You've seen me do literally almost everything out of these beautiful Blackstone ovens, except for, what haven't we done yet?
Dessert, baby!
Dessert! And since we just happen to be in the strawberry capital of the world, I've got a doozy for you guys. Stick around, I'm gonna show you how to make what's next. "35 years, this never gets old." So the key of this pizza that I love is that it works almost like a little par bake, where we're gonna bake the crust and then we're gonna build all the toppings later. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with the toppings first, and then we're gonna stretch and bake our dough. The first thing that I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna macerate some berries, some strawberries here. And I'm gonna grab these berries. We actually picked these up this morning at the farmer's market. Being the kid from Chicago, I have never seen strawberries this size. Ethan, I mean, check this out. Like, we don't get these in our grocery stores. 2 strawberries the size of my hand. So what I'm gonna start by doing is I'm gonna grab a knife, and, you know, obviously with fresh produce, the only thing that we need to watch for is sometimes you get like these little bits here that aren't quite ripened. So I'm gonna clean these up. I don't need the tail pieces here per se, which are always on a strawberry a little bit less ripe, right? And then as I go around, I'm gonna just kind of give this a quick cleaning. You can do these ahead of time if you want to do them over the sink and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to do this like the old grandma way, where I'm going to make some slices down. CJ, you know, be careful. These are sharp knives. You know, I don't want to cut myself, and I don't want you to cut yourself either. Once we make these cuts, so you see what I've done here? I've kind of made this dice. Come in close, Ethan. You see I've kind of like made this dice inside, and then from the side, I'm literally just going to go and press this all the way through and cut these berries like this. Now, what does macerating mean? Macerating means that I'm going to cut this fresh fruit, I'm going to throw a bunch of sugar on top, and then maybe a little liqueur. Why not put a little amaretto in this? I think that amaretto and strawberries works out amazing, right? So with all that, we're going to give it some time, and then the juice of these strawberries is going to mix with that sugar and that amaretto, and it's going to make like this syrup, and you're going to see where I'm going to go. I'm going to finish cutting these strawberries up, and then when I come back, I'm going to show you how to make this gorgeous ricotta cream. Okay, strawberries are done. These are looking beautiful. I'm going to get going right now with the ricotta cream for the topping of this pizza. What we're going to need to do, I'm taking a container. We're going to probably use all of this. It's about a pound of ricotta in here, and let me get a spatula to get this out. The thing about ricotta, you get this a couple different ways. Sometimes it's known as maybe hand dipped, or you know, this kind of like traditional or Italian style. I'm looking for the one that's already smooth, right? And it's gonna make a much easier, it's gonna come together easier like this. When I do this, I'm actually getting a lot of that whey, which is a byproduct of making cheese. So some of that water, this is a little different than like when you see maybe a container of yogurt that you open up and it's got that little bit of water on top, right? I'm just gonna give this a quick stir, and that's gonna help me get everything else in here. To this, I'm gonna add a little bit of powdered sugar. Now watch my little bit, huh? A little bit of powdered sugar. Let's take a little bit of honey. This kind of sweeten things up a little bit, because ricotta really just tastes like milk, right? And we want to make a dessert out of this. And then the last thing I'm going to do is add a little bit of heavy whipping cream. This is going to help me kind of just get everything flowing nice and smooth. We'll adjust here in a second. And then anytime you use anything like this, always a little bit of salt. I know everyone thinks, well, we're making a dessert, we still need salt. Absolutely. Salt works really good. And actually, if you want a pro tip, throw a little bit of salt on this pizza when it comes out of the oven, and you'll see that strawberry flavor is just much more intensified. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a lemon and do a quick little zest on this. All I'm doing is using this microplane. Get a little bit, we don't need a lot. We'll probably put a little bit more of this on top of the pizza when it comes out of the oven. And this is gonna give this kind of just beautiful lemony background to this, which will work really good with the strawberries. Put this back over here, and now let's just get everybody into the pool. We'll give this a quick stir. The smell is awesome already, and we didn't have really anything that is done to this. Look at this. Ethan, come in. Look at the beautiful color. So I like ricotta. If you wanted another option, you know, those of you who have maybe better stocked grocery stores where you live, another great option might be some mascarpone. But think of, again, we're making something creamy, and I like either ricotta or mascarpone for this. The cream is done. I'm going to give this just one more quick stir. I can see that little bit of lemon zest in here. And if I had to say what I'm checking for, I'm just checking that that powdered sugar is all dissolved, right? Look at this. That's what we're looking for. Nice thick cream. And when this pizza comes out of the oven, I want to make sure that when we put the cream on top of this hot pizza, that it's not just running off all over the sides. Okay? So this is done, looking really good. This is my American traditional dough. Speaking of American traditional, if you haven't seen how to make this dough, check out my tutorial on how to make this. I'm going to be using King Arthur bread flour for this one. Make sure you grab yourself a digital scale and tear out the bowl. When you start weighing out all your ingredients, put everything into individual bowls. Go one at a time. Make sure you have 0 on the tare, and then put all the ingredients inside the bowl. Look at that technique right there for putting honey. I like to put a little bit of oil in there first. This way the honey releases. And then I like to stir everything with my fingers. It's the best whisk you got right there. Look at that method. I'm going to stir very slowly, and once you see that half the flour has been incorporated into the water along with the salt and the honey, I'm going to add my yeast, and then just keep stirring with your fingers until you make a paste. Put the last bit of flour in there, continue stirring until you start to feel that gluten is formed. And look at that, I can actually get it to the point where it starts to pull away from the bowl. I add the oil in at the very end, making this beautiful smooth dough. Give it a quick knead on top of the countertop, and then once you have it all kneaded and it's nice and smooth, I'm going to take that dough, cover it with some plastic. This is going to let it rest, and then go ahead, divide your dough balls out. Make sure you weigh them because you want everything consistent. This is my method for rolling dough balls. Make those points, fold them into the center, and then once I have a nice tight dough ball, I pinch it into a change purse from the bottom, and look at that, a perfect dough ball every time. Stick it into one of those Blackstone dough boxes. I like to put 6 in a box, throw a lid on top, stick that in the refrigerator until you need them, and there you go. Now, I'm going to go ahead and give this a stretch. I'm dredging this in flour so that it doesn't stick to everything. And you'll notice I'm actually working on a wood board here, right? It doesn't matter if you've got wood, Carrara marble, even a piece of stainless steel. Just some kind of flat surface. The flour that I'm using, I'm gonna actually knock off so we don't have all this extra flour in the oven, which definitely is not gonna be going on my dessert pizza, that's for sure. I'm making this crust like I normally would a normal, let's say New York or maybe a Neapolitan style, any of those hand-tossed styles, but you can do whatever you feel more comfortable with. There's a lot of different methods to stretching dough, and what I'm doing right now is I'm actually just taking around the edges any excess air bubbles. I'm kind of breaking those up because those are just going to burn in the oven, and it's better to pop them now than all of a sudden to have a big black burnt bubble on the side of your pizza and then go and cut it, and now you got a hole in the edge of your crust because the burnt part falls off. Now from here, I'm just going to give this a quick stretch. My method that I use is always that Neapolitan slap technique, but there's a lot of different methods to stretching pizza dough. We could put this always on the back of our hands and give this a little stretch this way. Any way you're more comfortable to make just literally a round circle. Now, the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use a wooden peel. I'm going to put a little bit of flour on this. And the reason why I'm using the wood peel today instead of the metal one is because we're filming in Florida and today just happens to be a really hot, humid day. So this little bit, this one little trick is going to help me get this pizza off of the peel, right? Now, this is a pro move. If you get freaked out about this, do whatever you like better. I'm going to use my tips of my fingers and I'm going to make these little holes. Ethan, come on over here. Can you see these little holes that I'm making? They have a fancy tool called a dough docker, And what that does is makes these little holes. The idea is that the way that I'm gonna cook this in the oven, I'm not putting any tomato sauce or mozzarella on top of this. So what it's gonna do is it's gonna wanna puff up like a pita bread, right? And that's not what we're making today. So I'm making some holes just like this. And the last thing I'm gonna do is take some what's called turbinado sugar or sugar in the raw. And I'm gonna kind of coat this all the way around. What's gonna happen with this turbinado sugar is those of you who have ever made a, let's say a beautiful creme brulee, right? We're gonna brulee the top of this, meaning that our pizza ovens run fairly hot and that temperature gets really hot inside there. So almost thinking of what we would be doing with a blowtorch, we're gonna do with a pizza oven. And this is gonna make almost like this caramel on top of this crust without us doing anything else, right? This is good right here. I'm gonna give it a quick shake. Always give the pizza a little shake just to make sure it releases. Again, why am I using a board today? Because it's not gonna affect me. I'm gonna be able to launch this really easily and it's gonna be beautiful. And I'm gonna go over to the oven. Speaking of ovens, today I'm going to be using the E-Series tabletop pizza oven from Blackstone. This oven's great. You could use it indoor and outdoor. Obviously today I'm using it outdoors, but it's a great solution, especially if you're somewhere where we get covered in snow and you can't go outside to cook. Really good solution. All right, pizza's looking great. Did exactly what we needed it to do. Crust looks amazing. Now, from here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start with this whipped ricotta. Now, when we go in here, since I have this spatula out, I'm going to dollop right into the center. I'm not going to put all the cream because I want to make sure that I'm not putting too much. The goal here is that everything is going to remain proportioned. And the reason I like to use a spatula like this is because I can get into like those little nooks and crannies, if you will, because the whole point of doing that brûlée crust is that it's going to make all these big air bubbles on the top of this dough. And notice I'm not going all the way over the edge because where it's nice and shiny, where that sugar has brûléed or made that little caramelized crust, I don't want to cover that up. I want to be able to see this, right? I'm grabbing my cutter here. Again, thank you to my good friend Tony from Ohio, who was nice enough to send me this beautiful custom pizza cutter. I'm going to cut this first. And the reason why, can you hear that crunch? Come on, stop. I'm going to give this a cut and I'm going to show you, because if you're going to make dessert, it's got to be about the presentation, right? And if there's one thing that this is, it's all about the presentation. So once I have this cut, I'm going to take this like this and my dirty cutter that we don't need. I'm going to bring all the slices to the edge. Now stick with me, folks. Now that we have this cut, look at that. That's pretty close. 6 pretty close slices. How about this? Let's take these berries now. These macerated berries have made that nice syrup. All that berry juice has come out. It's mixed in with that honey and that sugar and that amaretto. Made this beautiful sauce. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to try to get the berries by themselves. Okay, so I'm draining this off because I'm going to give a little drizzle afterwards. I'm going to put those berries right in the center here. Look at this. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get some of this berry juice. Look at this. Oh, look at this. Are you kidding me right now? Look how beautiful this is. Give a little bit of that berry juice all across the top here. And then the last thing we're going to do, I've got a mesh sieve right here, right? I'm going to take some powdered sugar just like this. And I'm going to kind of just give this a little love, just like this. Look at this. All the way around. And then, how are we going to finish this? As if we didn't do enough to this yet. Let's get one of these giant, colossal strawberries. I'm going to take this. I'm going to cut this strawberry kind of in the middle. And I'm going to make these wedges. I'm going to leave the base of the strawberry on right now. Cut this into like maybe 8 pieces. And you'll see what I'm going to do next. This is again, this is more about the show than the go here, folks. So we'll take this kind of strawberry here in the middle, open it up, make sure we keep the leaves intact. And I'm going to kind of fan this out a little bit right here at the top. All right. There is no doubt now that this is a strawberry dessert. And then the last thing, thanks to my friend CJ, I'm going to get some of this lemon zest and just go across the top. And again, that beautiful, vibrant color, obviously the flavor of this lemon, but that beautiful, vibrant color on top is really something appealing. We say you eat with your eyes first, right? And that right there is what we're doing. Maybe we can give just a little more. We'll give a little, maybe a little of this right here in the center, just for fun. Folks, I don't know where you're from, but where I'm from, we call this dessert. The worst part about making something so beautiful is that we got to mess it all up and eat it. But who are we kidding? It's all about eating it. I can't wait to get in here because as I'm lifting this up, even though there's a lot of stuff, look at the amount of stuff that's on top over here. The thing that I notice is that that crust is still brûléed. It's still crispy. All that powdered sugar. And then look at the strawberry juice literally just coming off of these berries. I'm going in. I can't take it anymore. Eat it. Come here. I don't know about you, but I'm one of those people that eats dessert first. And this 100% would be the first thing that I would take to the dinner table. If you love this, leave it down below in the comments. I'm Master Leo Spizzirri. Ciao amici.